Well, hey guys, I'm here at Walgreens, and in this video, we're going to go through the skincare. I'm going to share with you what to use when you're starting tretinoin. I'm going to give you tips on how to incorporate certain ingredients, and importantly, I'm going to show you what products, ingredients, and habits to avoid when you are using tretinoin. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Andrea. I'm a board-certified dermatologist, and I have a lot of content here on YouTube all about retinoids, retin-A, explaining what they do, what they don't do, and busting a lot of myths about them. So check those videos out, but let's head on in. First up, I'm over here by some petrolatum ointments. We have CeraVe Healing Ointment, we have Aquaphor, and we have the Walgreens version. Getting an ointment is a great idea if you're going to be starting a retinoid because you want to put the retinoid to your face, but you want to avoid getting it on the delicate skin of your eyelids. You want to avoid getting it around your nose and around your mouth, especially the corners. It can be super irritating in these areas. So I suggest putting a little tiny dot of a petrolatum ointment like this, or Vaseline, or Aquaphor to those areas for applying your tretinoin. Yeah, it'll help protect those areas from tretinoin. It can just be too irritating there, especially around the eyes. It can make your eyes even dry. So put a thin layer of this around the eyes, around the mouth, and around the nose. Comment below, and if you remember my video showing you how to use Differin back in the day, I would say grease the orifices. And that's exactly what you should do. It'll help keep that tretinoin from getting to those areas and causing a lot of irritation. And you can use good old Vaseline too, or even the generic version. Alright, now when you use tretinoin, you want to apply it to a clean face, but you want to avoid washing your face with a really harsh cleanser. So I suggest a mild cleanser. This one by Aveeno, the Calm and Restore Nourishing Oat Cleanser, is great. I'll show you some other ones. This is another great option from La Roche-Posay, the Lipicare Wash AP. You can use this both on the face and the body, so it's a double hitter. You can, use it in your shower, wash your face, wash your body, and get out of the shower. Sometimes foaming cleansers can be a little bit more on the drying side. It's not always true, but you may find that if you were using a cleanser in the past, like this one that says normal to oily skin, you may find that it is now a little bit too drying for you if you're starting tretinoin. Now, CeraVe's Hydrating Facial Cleanser would be another great choice. Alternatively, you could save a few dollars and get the Walgreens version, or if you're a fan of the bars, I highly suggest their bar soap. Regardless, you just want a mild cleanser to wash your face. You want to avoid really harsh, overly scented soaps. This cleanser from Dermageek is another good gentle cleanser that you would benefit from using with a retinoid. Now, it's fine to wear makeup when you're starting tretinoin, but if you wear a lot of it, you may find that the mild cleansers I've suggested are not enough to adequately remove your makeup, and you may find that you need to spend a lot of time rubbing, in which case I suggest using like a cleansing balm first, or a cleansing oil like this one by Albolene. Pond's Cold Cream is another great option for removing makeup prior to using a mild cleanser. It just helps break up the film of like foundation, mascara, sunscreen, which is another super important product to incorporate. This is a great one from Avan. They're extremely gentle cleanser lotion. It does a really nice job breaking up like mascara too. You can use it around your eyes. Alright, speaking of sunscreen, true or false, tretinoin makes your skin more sensitive to the sun? The answer is false. It doesn't actually make your skin more sensitive to the sun. It actually helps your skin handle the ravages of UV better, but you do need to wear sunscreen. And in general, your skin is going to just be more sensitive, but it's not as though tretinoin is UV sensitizing, so it doesn't make you more likely to burn, but you definitely need to be wearing sunscreen. You should be wearing sunscreen regardless. These by La Roche-Posay are all fantastic. I really especially like the Melton Sunscreen Milk if you have an oilier skin type especially. It's non-greasy, it's water resistant, so it doesn't run into your eyes. They have an SPF 60 version as well. Then I also like the mineral one. The cast on this is pretty mild for an SPF 50 mineral sunscreen. It's water resistant. If you have really sensitive skin, and again, when you start using tretinoin, you may find your skin is a little bit more sensitive to burning and stinging, you may find that you prefer a mineral sunscreen to a chemical one. But the La Roche-Posay chemical sunscreens, which is what these are great. They don't burn me, at least. It's kind of an individual outcome, but regardless, these are great. Speaking of mineral sunscreen, this one by Avène is also really nice. If you wanted a mineral sunscreen, it's a little pricey though. But I highly suggest the Avène Tinted Mineral Compact, especially if you like wearing makeup. This actually gives really good cosmetic camouflage coverage. It stays in place well. It's easy to reapply. It's easy to spread on the skin. So these compacts are great. This one by CeraVe is pretty zinky. The cast is pretty noticeable, but they make a tinted one that I really like. That's just a great option. This one by Cetaphil, the Sheer Mineral Face. There is a cast to this, but it's pretty mild. And this is a nice lightweight liquid formula. And I've recently discovered these new Eucerin products, these new Eucerin sunscreens. The Age Defense is really moisturizing. It's not greasy. This would be another good option. I haven't tried the Sensitive Mineral. I imagine there's a white cast to that. And I've seen people on Instagram try these out and say that they burn and sting around the eyes. But for me personally, this Age Defense one or the Oil Control one, neither of these caused any burning or stinging for me around the eyes. They would both be a great option. This Coppertone Sport Mineral would be another good one. I suggest avoiding sunscreens with fragrance in them because it can be more irritating when you're using tretinoin, especially in the beginning. So if you weren't aware, the first several weeks of using tretinoin, your skin's going to get really dry, it's going to peel, and it's going to be more sensitive. So one way to reduce that is to make sure you use a moisturizer. You can apply moisturizer either before or after you apply tretinoin. It really doesn't matter, but just using a moisturizer will help the tolerability of tretinoin. So this one by Gold Bond, I personally really like. It's got hyaluronic acid, ceramides, which are helpful for skin barrier recovery. I also really like to use the CeraVe moisturizing cream on my face, but a lot of people complain that this burns and stings. We have the Walgreens version. So like this Aveeno Calm and Restore Oat Gel Moisturizer. It has extracts from centella, which are also helpful for skin barrier recovery. And it's not greasy, it's very lightweight. It has oats, which are very moisturizing. That's a good option, but it is a little expensive, but it's one of my favorite skincare products. I like this product from Cetaphil, their Rich Hydrating Cream for dry to normal sensitive skin. This is a great option too to use. One of the things that can happen with tretinoin is, especially in the beginning, I mentioned, your skin can be more sensitive, vulnerable to getting chapped, dry. You can have a lot of peeling, irritation. That is a sign that the skin barrier is impaired, and that can happen, and that's part of the retinization process with tretinoin. So I suggest this, the Cicaplast Balm. It's a dimethicone-based skin protectant with shea butter, and Medicicide is a compound from centella that's helpful for healing. This is really soothing and great for the irritation issue that you may experience, especially with mask wearing. You're going to find that starting tretinoin or using tretinoin, and then if you're wearing masks, you can have even more irritation. This is really great under the mask, especially. It reduces friction on the skin from the mask that can further irritate your skin. So that's another great product to consider. All right, let's talk about flakes. In the beginning, when you develop dryness, irritation, the skin can get flaky from tretinoin in the beginning. And a lot of people are tempted to exfoliate that, get, some kind of a peel or whatever. That ends up worsening it because the flakes really are exfoliating skin. So you don't want to attempt to exfoliating. Oils are normally by themselves not the most ideal moisturizer because they don't really lock in hydration. But for the purpose of flakiness, a facial oil or this Neutrogena body oil, just a teeny tiny drop, gently massage it over the flakes in a circular fashion. The oil, see this is sesame oil, the oil just slips between those corneocytes, as they're called, kind of helps them naturally dislodge, deposits some soothing, moisturizing emollient behind, and it doesn't aggravate the skin like trying to exfoliate would. Now, I know a lot of people like to rag on this product. However, I do not suggest using any kind of scrub if you're going to be using a retinoid, because scrubs, they do cause little tiny micro erosions on the skin as the materials, the walnut shells and whatnot, are abrasive. And when you go and put tretinoin on over that, it's going to be really irritating. So I suggest avoiding cleansing scrubs or any kind of scrub. All right, here's something to avoid. This product is actually great, by the way, this alpha hydroxy face cream. But when you put tretinoin on, you don't want to apply an alpha hydroxy acid product at the same time. It's going to be too irritating. In the beginning, I would suggest avoiding products like this altogether as your skin is getting accustomed to the retinoid. And then maybe 3, 4, 5 months into using the retinoid consistently, so long as you're not having any dryness or peeling or irritation, you could consider using a product like this in the morning. Likewise, here we have an alpha hydroxy acid peel pad from L'Oreal. You would not want to use this and apply tretinoin at the same time. So like you wouldn't want to, you're going to be using tretinoin in your nighttime routine most likely. You would not want to use this at the same time. Alpha hydroxy acids include glycolic acid, mandelic acid, lactic acid. So in this video, we're talking about skincare to use and or avoid when using tretinoin, which is a prescription topical medication that is used to treat acne, but a lot of people use it for improving wrinkles and fine lines. So a lot of people ask me, should we keep using our retinols or can we alternate tretinoin with retinol? And I suggest avoiding all retinol products when you are using prescription tretinoin because it doesn't add anything of benefit. It just increases the risk of irritation. So here we have a retinol by Rock. This is really popular. They're deep wrinkle filler. And of course there is the Walgreens version. I mean, there are a lot of retinols. See, retinol is different from tretinoin. Unlike tretinoin, retinol has to undergo 2 conversion steps in your skin in order for it to be retinoic acid, which is what tretinoin is. So tretinoin's already retinoic acid. So you're basically not getting anything additional by using a retinol, but you will have even more irritation if you combine the two together. All right, so a lot of people use tretinoin for acne. I mean, that's what it was originally used for, and then the wrinkle thing was discovered accidentally much later. So if you do have acne, then you got to be careful with benzoyl peroxide. This is another one you don't want to apply at the same time as tretinoin because benzoyl peroxide, not only will it make it a lot more irritating, it also can compromise the stability of the tretinoin. This is one to use in the morning routine. Neutrogena even kind of advises you in that way here because it says AM treatment. This one by Neutrogena is actually very good. It's a micronized benzoyl peroxide, so it's less irritating. This would be a good one if you are still having breakouts with tretinoin. All right, so here we have some benzoyl peroxide washes, and a lot of people ask, well, can I wash my face with this first and then put tretinoin on? You can. That won't like inactivate it or anything. It's just depending on the benzoyl peroxide wash you use, they can be drying, and that can end up making the tretinoin even more irritating. This one by CeraVe is quite good. I'm sure the Walgreens dupe is equally as good too. Earlier I pointed out how you don't want to put alpha hydroxy acids on the skin at the same time as tretinoin. Likewise, you don't want to use a leave-on beta hydroxy acid, otherwise known as salicylic acid, at the same time. So this product by CeraVe is a really good acne product. But if you're using your tretinoin at night, you wouldn't want to apply this at night along with it. It can be very irritating. Instead, provided your skin isn't overly irritated, this would be one to maybe consider in the morning. The key, though, with success with tretinoin is to just keep things very simple, streamlined, and avoid the temptation to introduce a bunch of things, especially in the beginning. But overall, just keeping it simple, you may end up finding that that is really all you need. You don't need to add a lot of additional acids. Here we have a sunless tanning product. I'm holding this up because I want to let you guys know that if you use sunless tanner on the face while using tretinoin, it's fine to do that, but because tretinoin makes your skin a little bit more sensitive, you may find that it is more irritating than it was before. And because tretinoin kind of smooths out the what's called the stratum corneum, that's the part of the skin that the sunless tanner is kind of glomming onto. Because it smooths that out and thins it out, the tan that you get with the sunless tanner, the color, it's not going to last as long as it once did. Likewise, if you're using tretinoin to the body for stretch marks, you may find that these kind of sunless tanning products that have dihydroxyacetone in them, which is a safe ingredient, you may find that the tan fades a lot more quickly. All right, let's talk about hair removal when you're using tretinoin. This is something to be very careful about. You don't want to do waxing, actually, because remember I said that tretinoin is going to smooth out that top layer of the skin. That's normally part of what is pulled off when you get facial waxing or any kind of waxing. You're going to have less of that there, and what can end up happening is you can develop little sores. So if you're going to do waxing, you kind of have to stop tretinoin for a while. It's just a pain. Yeah, you don't want to do waxing. Now, shaving is fine. You know, you can do facial, you can shave the face when you're using tretinoin, but again, it's smoothing out that top dead layer of the skin, the stratum corneum. And so you're going to be more vulnerable to razor burn, irritation. So be really careful with your shaving. Good shaving practices include making sure your blade is sharp. Don't use a dull blade. Use like a shaving cream. Shave in the direction of hair growth, and don't press too hard. That's a common reason why people get not only razor burn, but it can then lead to ingrown hairs, which is just going to make you miserable. I wanted to come over here by the hand soaps to specifically make the point that after you apply tretinoin to your face, wash your hands, because the tretinoin on your fingers, you later will end up inevitably touching around the delicate skin of the eyes, and that can transfer the tretinoin there and be very irritating. So make sure you wash your hands after you apply tretinoin. Well guys, I hope this video was helpful. They had quite a few products in there that I think are great options if you're new to tretinoin, or maybe you're using it and you're having a lot of irritation, peeling. Hopefully these tips helped. The best thing when it comes to really skincare in general, but in having success with tretinoin and not getting too much skin irritation, is just keep it simple. And yeah, don't, try and introduce a lot of stuff. Protect your skin from the sun. Don't overcomplicate it. And if you are having too much irritation, you can always back down to using it every other day or a few times a week. It'll still be effective. It just takes longer to work, but that way you have less irritation. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Now on the end slate, I'm going to put my most recent video explaining how to save a ton on prescription tretinoin. So definitely check that out, because it can get expensive if you're paying out of pocket for it for like wrinkles and fine lines. So check that out. But if you like this one, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.